What would you do if a fundamental agreement with your spouse about your future was suddenly, irrevocably broken? In today's story, the protagonist's choice is a masterclass in how to handle it. My wife, Elara, and I, both in our mid-30s, have been happily married for 9 blissful years. Our life together has been built on shared dreams, and one of the most foundational was our mutual decision not to have children. We'd discussed it thoroughly before we even tied the knot, and Elara had always been clear, if an accidental pregnancy ever occurred, she would opt for an abortion. It was a cornerstone of our future, a pact we both understood and agreed upon. Then, yesterday, my world tilted on its axis. Elara dropped the bombshell: she's 9 weeks pregnant, she's on the pill, and meticulously so, but as they say, accidents happen. The shock was immense, but what truly stunned me was her next revelation. She told me she wanted to carry the baby to term and then give it up for adoption. Naturally, I was blindsided by the news and her sudden change of heart. I asked her, as gently as I could, if she had considered an abortion, reminding her of our previous agreement. Her response was that she had considered it, but she couldn't go through with it because she already felt a bond with the fetus. This was a new side of Elara, one I hadn't anticipated. She went on to explain that she had been researching adoption agencies, and a new wrinkle emerged: the local agencies only facilitated open adoptions. This detail struck a raw nerve. I immediately told her I wasn't comfortable with that arrangement, and again, asked her to consider an abortion. The words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken tension. Elara's eyes welled up, and she burst into tears, leaving our home to spend the night at her sister's place. My phone calls went unanswered. My discomfort with the situation stemmed from several deeply personal reasons, all of which Elara was aware of. I was adopted at birth, and my experience with my adoptive parents wasn't the best. While I know every adoption story is different, I couldn't shake my negative associations. A few years ago, I even tried to find my biological parents to get a handle on my medical history, but I hit a dead end. It stung for a while, though I'd thought I'd moved past it. More broadly, I simply don't want to pass on my genes, which feel like a complete mystery to me. Plus, frankly, I don't like kids. Elara admitted that, deep down, she would prefer to keep the baby. However, knowing my feelings, she suggested open adoption as a reasonable compromise. I understood her perspective, but the thought of having any biological child, regardless of my involvement, was deeply unsettling to me. As one commenter, Havartna, astutely pointed out, you are absolutely on the hook for financial support of the child no matter what, but you'll have some tough decisions to make about continuing the marriage under those circumstances. This looming reality was a heavy weight on my mind. Looking back, I realized a massive oversight on my part. My wife takes birth control not just for contraception, but for other health reasons too. I've always supported her wholeheartedly in that, but I was an idiot for not getting a vasectomy ages ago. It honestly never crossed my mind until now, primarily because Elara was always on birth control and had agreed to an abortion if needed. I see now how incredibly irresponsible that was, and I'm going to get snipped as soon as possible. As another commenter, Aquatic Moomin, put it, YTA for knowing that you never want to be a parent and still not getting a vasectomy. That hit home. Elara and I finally talked. It was an incredibly emotional conversation for both of us, but thankfully, no voices were raised. The main takeaways from our discussion were significant. First, I apologized profusely for putting her in this impossible position, acknowledging my idiocy for not getting a vasectomy sooner. I also apologized if my request for her to have an abortion felt like pressure. My intention wasn't to pressure her, but I know words aren't always received as intended. She admitted she felt a little pressured but forgave me, understanding that I was completely caught off guard. Second, she apologized for her change of heart regarding the abortion. She said her feelings surprised her, and she hoped I didn't feel tricked, which I absolutely didn't. We mutually agreed that it would be best to spend one more night apart, giving each of us time to truly think about everything. Our marriage has always been strong, and we are both deeply committed to working through this. Whatever the outcome may be, this situation highlights a crucial lesson. Open communication and proactive measures are paramount in a relationship. Even when you think you have everything planned, life can throw unexpected curveballs. It also underscores that sometimes, the most challenging decisions reveal the deepest commitments. What would you do if your partner had a change of heart about a fundamental life decision you both agreed upon?